Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Zillia, and today we're going to be putting the characters from the Astra Lost in Space series, both anime and manga, into a tier list. Reason? Well, I absolutely love this series. The Astra Lost in Space series is one of my all-time favourite mangas, so I want to give the characters some love because they're absolutely amazing in their own rights. If you haven't seen Astra Lost in Space, I recommend you highly to go and watch the series. You'll love every aspect of it, I guarantee that. But without further ado, we have these categories to put the characters in. We've got yeah, we've got A tier, B tier, C tier, and bad. So starting off, we've got Airy Springs, our main female character, and honestly, she's so wholesome, so lovable, so adorable, she has to go in yeah. That's gonna be cringy. But we're putting her there anyway. Next up, we got Charles, and Charles for me is an A tier character. I absolutely love this character from a mental and psychological perspective. The development he went through was awesome. The trauma he had to go through and endure. The backstory was just fantastic. So Charles, you're an A tier. Well done. Next up, we got Emma Spring. Pretty much the only decent parent out of the parents from this list, and honestly, she's just great. She's wholesome, she's sweet, she treats Airy like her own child, and genuinely is worried when they go missing. So, you know what? Props to her. B tier. Next up, we got Oligar's brother, and you know what? I'm really sorry, but I've got to put him in C. Yes, he gave Oligar some inspiration and passion for the future. But honestly, apart from that, he didn't really contribute much to the story. Yes, he had that kind of lead about something big and disastrous being in the works, which led to his death, but unfortunately, again, we didn't see too much of him, so C is suitable. Next up, we got Fumi, Fumi, and I'm putting her in B tier. She's just so sweet, wholesome, and lovable. I honestly thought at the start of the series I was going to hate her. I thought she was going to be annoying and just irritating, but actually, I love the character a lot. She's just so sweet and kind. She can go in B. Next up, we've got Zack's father, and I think his name is Jed. Jed Walker, I think that sounds right. But honestly, I'm putting him in B tier. Now, simply because of one scene in particular. Zack's backstory where he gives his father that drawing. The actions his father takes after that drawing, wow, that was just dark, but also very powerful. Now, we have Kanata's father, and this guy is going to be the first person in bad. Honestly, I understood his motivations in wanting to take Kanata's body and have a rejuvenated body of himself, or his former self, and basically just go back into, like, the Olympics, triathlons, and all of that. The diathlon, I think they called it. But at the same time, I just didn't see much of him in terms of personality, apart from just despicableness. And honestly, I just didn't really care too much about the character in the end. Next up, we've got Kanata, and we've got another yeah character. Presumably our main protagonist, pretty much is, and he was just so awesome. If I was lost in space, I would definitely want Kanata as my leader. Yes, he's goofy, yes, he's quirky, yes, he's a little bit dumb at times and dense, but at the same time, he pulled through, he did the duties that needed to be done, and he got results. So he goes in yeah, because he's just brilliant. God tier. Next up, we've got Kanata's teacher. Now, similarly to Oligar's brother, Kanata's teacher was just kind of like a platform for Kanata to gain a desire to go into space and, you know, have a dream to chase after that was different from his original. Apart from that, though, we didn't really get too much. Actually, I'm changing my pick. I'm putting him in B tier. The reason to why the changes, I just remembered. He saved Kanata's life and the children's and sacrificed himself so that they had a chance at living. Teacher of the year right there. Honestly. Not the best teacher in anime, but he might be in the top 50. Next up, we got Luca. Now this character made me laugh a few times, but honestly, I didn't really find him that fun or entertaining. So I am going to put him in B tier. Next up, we got the King Noah Vix, and honestly, bad. I'm not putting all the parents in bad, so don't jump to that conclusion. But honestly, design, don't like. You know what? I'm sorry, I'm flip-flopping, but C tier. As the antagonist, he served his purpose. As a despicable human being, he served his purpose. As a poor father or an upbringer, he served his purpose. So you know what? He goes into C just based on that merit alone. Now next up, we've got the Quiltaleen's mother and Fumi's mother. And you know what? She's a nurse, so I can give her some credit. She has very despicable personality, so boo to that. But at the same time, I quite like the character's design. You know what? I'm going to keep her there. Keep her there. Next up, we've got... Oh, I can't remember her name now. What's her name? She's the lady that is pretty much 162, or maybe older, maybe slightly younger, because she was cryogenically frozen. But what's her name? Anyway, I've forgotten. It's up on screen, so you'll see it there. But she is going in B tier. Honestly, love the design. I like the fact that she brought the information, and it was thanks to her involvement within the series that we got to connect more dots, and we got to finally move forward in terms of like some lore and plot progression while on the Astra. I've already said great design. I like her little story with her friends, waiting for them, and the fact that the crew woke her up without any means of actually leaving. Well, at that time, they didn't know they did. That, honestly, I wouldn't blame her if she hated them for life for that. But she didn't. She became wholesome, she became supportive, and all round, she was just fantastic. Next up, we've got the next entry into bad, and that is Oligar's father. Honestly, I'm putting him a bit further up than Carlos's father, because there is a bit more to like about him, but still I just really didn't care. Now, he's an okay antagonist. He said some pretty harsh words, which boosted his antagonisticness up. But apart from that, I just really didn't like him. Next up, we got the sweet and wholesome Quiltaleen, who is going in A tier. Now, she's not the best character, in my opinion, within Astra Lost in Space. However, her emotion and her reactions were so realistic. And they were so authentic that you would actually probably think that someone like her in her own age would act that way to every situation that unfolded. And you know what? Props to her, she didn't give up. And that's commendable. So I'm putting her in A tier. Next up, we have Sarah, which, B tier. And you know what? B tier. Now, she's Aries original, so I quite like her design. I like her kind personality and the fact she was pretty much the only friend that Charles had as a kid. But at the same time, that was sweet and all, but nothing else really. Next up, we got Luger, and you know what? A tier. The reason being is he's cool, he's edgy, he's hard-hitting, and he's a great shot. Basically, he can shoot really well. But at the same time, the series kept us guessing with Luger. Whether or not he was the traitor, or whether or not he was a bad guy, or was affiliated with our heroes. We kept being on edge and kept having to walk around on eggshells when it came to this character. And then when he finally pulled out the pistol and pointed it at one of the crew, you were just like, oh, it's happening. It's happening. And then you find out his backstory, and you just gotta feel sorry for him. Like, honestly, this character, he's just really cool. And next up, we have another bad character, and to be honest, she's probably my least favourite character of the series, and that is Yuha's mother. Yuha's mother was she's this famous actress that really did treat her daughter very badly. Like, don't, put yourself in the spotlight, hide yourself, don't have a big role. Belittling Yuha to the point where she has no confidence. This obviously creates a lot of heat, makes her a good antagonist, but at the same time, apart from that, I just can't find any reason to like the character. So to me, she's just a bad egg. Next up, we got Yuha, and honestly, I'm putting her in B tier. Now, don't get me wrong, I think she goes above Fumi. Yuha's character showed some fantastic development. Like the fact that she was shy and very clumsy and couldn't really help the crew at the start, and then eventually she found what she was good at. She expressed herself a lot in the emotion in what she did when it comes to singing. And she found her voice, literally. And then after that, she was contributing a lot more. She was helpful. She grew and was, you know, a little bit comedic when the boys were kind of, you know, finding her true beauty. And you know what? I ended up liking Yuha as a character. I thought she was pretty decent by the end. And finally, we come to the last character, which is Zack. And you know what? Zack, to me, is at the bottom of A tier. Like, this character, call him what you will. Yes, he's emotionless. Yes, he's not very perceptive in terms of people's feelings. Like, he's quite dense in that department. He's very smart. He's very cunning when it comes to creating a plan and very good with engineering structures and stuff like that. But his comedy segments were just amazing. I laughed pretty much at every single one of them just because he thought he was being serious and he thought he understood everything. But the jokes just, you know, told you otherwise. And that's what made them funny. They felt kind of realistic and it made sense with his upbringing. So for that, Zack goes in A tier. Now, of course, that was just my opinion. You might think differently about these characters from the Astra Lost in Space anime. If you haven't watched it, again, go and watch it. What are you doing? You won't regret watching this series. Then once you've seen it, come back and tell me who your favourite character is. And of course, if you have seen it, let me know your favourites in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about the series. And of course, I hope you've enjoyed the video itself. Hit like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And let me know what anime you want me to do a tier list next time. Have a great day. Alligator matane. Goodbye.